I recently watched a movie called Thanksgiving, and this is actually the second video of a series I'm doing where I talk about each of the lessons I learned from the movie. And like with the first video, I have to once again recommend that I have to once again say I do not recommend watching this movie. Again, I'll put the disclaimer in the description as to why I did watch it, as well as why I don't recommend watching it. With that said, this channel exists to encourage you to continue to be a good person through lessons primarily rooted in biblical and stoic principles. Without further ado, let's get into lesson number 2, important lesson number 2 from the movie Thanksgiving. In what is the opening, conflict of the film, there is a popular retail store known as Right Mart that one of the main characters owns, and a couple of the other characters in the film either work at or just happen to be at on this night because it was the night of Thanksgiving, which happened to be when they were going to open their store for some early Black Friday deals. That being the case, there was a huge crowd that gathered outside and forced their way in, essentially. And amidst chaos and a riot that broke out in the store, the security guard that was originally trying to open the door for the crowd had actually gotten smashed by the door and was pretty much on the verge of death. But one of the main characters, Bobby is his name, noticing what was going on, he was going to go over, he attempted to go over to the security guard to help him out, but in the process of doing so, he unfortunately, oh my gosh, and this is even kind of graphic to say what happened, but I'll try to not go into too much detail. His arm got broken. Someone with a cart ran it over, and oh my gosh, it was so, I don't even want to think about that. It was terrible what happened. Which, as much as that's unfortunate anyway, for anyone, Bobby happened to be aspiring? He happened to be interested in baseball and even was seeking a career in that, being a pitcher. So yeah, that career is kind of out the window now. Not entirely. It certainly is going to have to take the back burner for a little bit because his arm is all messed up. In fact, he might not ever get back up to full pitching speed, but perhaps he will. But the point being here is, on top of whatever your specific dreams and goals are, like with Bobby, his was to be a pitcher, work also on your heart and your character, and I would say even more adamantly, for they cannot be permanently broken absent of your decision to let them be. I say that because obviously for example, your heart can be broken, or your spirit can be crushed in large part, or to some extent, but they can't be permanently broken because you decide how much you let something affect you. There are many, stoic quotes about we can't change or even choose what happens to us, but only our reaction to them. So again, on top of your specific goals, whether it be in sports, in music, in some career that you want, as much as you're working on them and striving to improve yourself in that, which you should do, depending on what career you're going for, work also on your heart and your character, for those are more important. I came to this conclusion earlier this year, even before watching this movie, because of events in my own life where I had just become a lot more busy. And so I realized, though there are a ton of things I want to do, I want to be able to practice this instrument and that one, and read and do this project and the other, I simply was unable to do everything because of the limited amount of time I had. That said, I still had an opportunity every day to do good. So I said, you know what? My main goal is to do good, and I'll do those other things if possible. I'll try my best to make them possible, but if nothing else, I'm still going to do good. And I recommend that everyone live by that standard. Proverbs 4:23 reads, "Watch over your heart with all diligence, for from it flow the springs of life." So keep your heart in check, keep your character good, for lack of a better word. And this is the NIV translation of it, which I also like what it says. It says, "Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it." So this isn't just like an add-on of, oh yeah, you should work on your, your practical career stuff, but then also your heart if you want to. It's like, no. The heart comes first. Your character comes first. Everything you do flows from that. So, again, just to hammer the point home. Luke 6, verse 31 through 36 reads, "Do to others as you would have them do to you. If you love those who love you, what credit is that to you? Even sinners love those who love them. And if you do good to those who are good to you, what credit is that to you? Even sinners do that. And if you lend to those from whom you expect repayment, what credit is that to you? Even sinners lend to sinners, expecting to be repaid in full. But love your enemies, do good to them, and lend to them without expecting to get anything back. Then your reward will be great, and you will be children of the Most High, because He is kind to the ungrateful and wicked. Be merciful just as your Father is merciful." This is from, and I'll try my best to pronounce her name. I apologize if I get it wrong, but I love this quote. It's actually on my desktop because of how important it is. Etienne de Grelais. Oh, that's probably not right. Etienne, you know what? Never mind. I'm not going to try to pronounce it. "I shall pass this way but once. Any good that I can do or any kindness I can show to any human being, let me do it now. Let me not defer nor neglect it, for I shall not pass this way again." This one's from William Shakespeare. He says, "Love all, trust a few, do wrong to none." This one's from Seneca. He says, "Happy is the man who can make others better, not merely when he is in their company, but even when he is in their thoughts." So be so kind, so loving that even when someone thinks of you, they're inspired to do good and be better. And then, I don't know who said this, actually. "Every moment is a chance to live with integrity. Act as if your every deed is being recorded for eternity." Lastly, this is from Marcus Aurelius. He says, "Do not act as if you were going to live 10,000 years. Death hangs over you while you live, while it is in your power. Do good." Or I guess be good, but the point remains. I say all this so as to say, do your part. Choose to do good. But don't think that it's all up to you, because it's not. We do have our part to play, yes, but God, if we have a relationship with Him, is working on our behalf. So rest assured, He will certainly do His part, and thank God for that. And that's a good opportunity to say, if you don't know the Lord yet, there's no better time to meet Him than now. It says in Romans 10, verse 9, that if you confess with your mouth Jesus is Lord, and believe in your heart that God raised Him from the dead, you will be saved. So I implore you to do so. Well, thank you so much for watching part 2 in my series of lessons from the movie Thanksgiving, which I once again do not recommend watching. It's just pretty dark, essentially. But again, read the disclaimer in the description for some detail on that. Also, watch part 1, lesson number 1, and stay tuned for the rest of the series. Again, thank you so much for watching. Remember to treat others the way that you want to be treated, to love God and love your neighbor, and therefore you will continue to be a good person. As always, it's an honor.